Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So I am Holly Boyce. I have been a personal trainer, nutrition coach for, probably 10-ish years, I think now. My journey kind of started after cancer. So 12 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was a stage 2B. Went through all the treatments, the chemo, the radiation, the meds, the whole 9 yards of stuff. And I was kind of in this field of family services prior. And when I was finished with all my treatment, I really wanted to dive more into health and fitness and how can I be the best version of myself, and how can I stay on the planet as long as I am blessed to be here? So I kind of switched career paths. I went into this world of health and fitness and kind of have been in it ever since in some way, shape, or form. Specialized for a little while in treating cancer, like post-cancer patients. Really, it was mostly before. There's a few, I guess, during treatment, but I was kind of that person that was the anomaly in cancer. I was in chemo treatment on Thursday afternoon, and then I went to the gym right after chemo treatment, and then I went to home to sleep because I knew I had a 2-hour window, and so I always had that, like, I just want to feel normal kind of thing. But I've always loved health and fitness, and so that's a long-winded version of my story, I guess.
No. Janet, what kind of questions do you have for Holly?
Okay, Holly. So did you ever get to a point where you weren't able to exercise during your treatments? I mean, was there a stall point, or were you got blown through the whole thing without any?
Yeah. No, I actually was able to exercise the whole time. Now, I definitely had to exercise differently. I was a runner prior to all this, and so I would want to go like run miles. Definitely couldn't do anything like that. We had a program that had like little circuit training, so I would spend 30 minutes or so, and then I'd walk or run. Like I say, jog on the treadmill. And I realized that that's not entirely the most common thing that you hear, but it's possible. And I've seen people besides myself do that. So I know, I knew myself in the window of time that I had where I had the energy to do it, but I had to be very, very careful during that time. And I had doctor permission, of course, to just not overdo it, because it would have been very easy to do at that point.
So when you talk about health and fitness, and especially let's just focus since we are on cancer patients, there's probably a lot more to it than just your typical working out and diet and stuff like that. There's probably a lot of mental stuff you have to process, things like that. Can you go into that?
Yeah. That is so post-cancer is really when I actually had to kind of think about that stuff a lot more. I was definitely the type that was like, I just want to focus on August 17th. That's my last day of all the things. I just want to get to the finish line. It was like running a race, right? I finished the race of treatment or whatever, and I was like, whoa, what just happened? I have 2 little babies. I just went through this thing that tried to kill me, and it really was this mental piece of I needed to process some things. I needed to start taking care of myself a little bit better. And I was kind of forced to do that during cancer. But prior to that, I was the type that was always go, go, go. I was high stress jobs. I was, high stress person. And it changed me so much that I had to kind of process this new me and this new normal and the things that I used to believe and I used to think and want to do, and even in the job field and stuff like that, I had to process, what do I want for my life now? And so that really came at with a lot of, I thought that I was kind of crazy for a while. I'm like, I'm done with cancer. Why am I stressing about this right now? But it's very, very, very common for people, especially that kind of went through the treatment like I did, with just like, let's just get to the end, to kind of process a lot of that stuff after. So it took quite a while to go through all of the emotions that I kind of ignored for a while. I had to go through all that. I had to kind of go through this new I had surgeries and stuff in there. So obviously I wasn't able to do all the things that I used to be able to do. And I just kind of had to create this new normal of a life. And some people got it and some people didn't. And that was tough. But ultimately I feel like I took more from the disease than it took from me. So I kind of just live my life like that, as a result of all that too.
So do you think because of you staying active during your treatments, do you think that it helped you actually recover faster?
100%. 100%. And I know that's not the case for everybody. I know that not, everybody's case is a little bit different, but because I was able to, keep moving my body in some way, shape, or form that whole time, it definitely lessened, some of my side effects that I had from all these medicines. I was able to, I still had side effects, of course, but they were definitely lessened. And even the doctors and I talked about it afterwards. I'm like, this was definitely the recommended thing. And especially 12 years ago, that really wasn't talked about a lot. Like it was encouraged for me to do that after I was done with all my treatment, but not during. I was just one of those people that I'm like, no, I can do this. That's fine. But now, 12 years later, that is one of the things that they encourage people to do, is to keep moving in some way. So it definitely has some, obviously research to support that now, but it probably did back then, but it just wasn't really common for them to talk to you about like, okay, make sure you, get some movement in. They're just like, here's some meds so you don't puke, like it
Yeah.
was, that's all I felt like. I don't know. I guess that's how it was, is a while ago though.
Yeah, movement is medicine. We talk about it on our podcast all the time. Movement is
Yeah.
medicine for sure.
Yeah. And then there's a mental aspect that comes with that too, I think, of like, I just felt like I had a little bit of control and normalcy in my life when I was doing those things. So I could just, I could walk and I could do those things. And it just gave me, because everything was kind of mentally out of control. You've got this disease that just barges into your life and everything is turned upside down. It gave me a little bit of something that I could kind of grasp onto. So I think for my mental health, it was huge, as well as the physical piece of it.